The legend of the dancing skeleton. In the small and quirky village of Buzzville, where roosters sang in a musical key and cows practiced yoga at sunrise, there was a graveyard that no one in their right mind visited after dark. This wasn't because of fear of ghosts, but because everyone knew that on Thursday nights, Mr. Bones, the dancing skeleton, would rise from his grave to shake his bones to a music only he could hear. Mr. Bones had been the most elegant dancer Buzzville had ever known. His top hat and cane were as famous as his salsa, merengue, and, of course, breakdance skills. One night, while executing a particularly complicated pirouette, Mr. Bones simply fell over, dead from laughter, and since then, not even death could stop his passion for dancing. One ordinary Thursday, Benny, a boy with more curiosity than common sense, decided it was time to see for himself if the legend was true. Armed with a flashlight, an old portable radio, and a pack of chocolate cookies, he ventured into the graveyard just as the church clock struck midnight. The graveyard was quieter than a library on a holiday. Benny walked among the tombstones, whispering apologies to each one just in case. He reached Mr. Bones' grave, a headstone adorned with inscriptions promising eternal entertainment, and waited. Just when he thought it was all a joke, the ground began to tremble. With a creak and a squeak, the earth opened up, and out emerged Mr. Bones, as skeletal and elegant as ever, with his top hat snugly perched, and his shiny cane in hand. Without even looking at Benny, Mr. Bones began to move to the beat of an invisible music, his bones resonating with an irresistible rhythm. Benny, mouth agape, decided he couldn't let this opportunity slip away. He turned on his radio and, after a moment of static, found a station playing cumbia music. Mr. Bones stopped, looked at Benny with his empty eye sockets, and after a brief moment, smiled, or at least that's what it looked like, and began to dance to the cumbia rhythm. The skeleton's movements were so fluid and precise that Benny could do nothing but try to keep up. After a few minutes, he could no longer tell if he was dancing with Mr. Bones, or with the very spirit of the music. Suddenly, the cumbia stopped, and a voice announced, "And now, a little reggaeton." Without losing a beat, Mr. Bones switched styles, moving with such grace that Benny had to admit he had never seen anyone dance reggaeton with such flair, let alone a skeleton. But the strangest part wasn't the dance itself, it was how the flowers in the graveyard began to glow, and the crows were clapping their wings. As the night went on, Benny and Mr. Bones danced a variety of styles, from tango to rock and roll. Each change of song brought new surprises, statues spinning like tops, trees snapping their fingers to the beat, and a black cat doing flips like a circus acrobat. Finally, when the first light of dawn began to paint the sky, Mr. Bones took a final bow, his top hat tipping with an elegance that defied all logic. With one last creak, the skeleton slipped back into his grave, leaving Benny alone in the graveyard, exhausted but filled with an inexplicable joy. Benny returned home, where his mother scolded him for being out all night, but even that couldn't wipe the smile off his face. From then on, every Thursday, Benny returned to the graveyard to see his skeleton friend and share a dance. The people of Buzzville began to notice a change in the village. The cows practiced tango, the roosters sang opera, and even the dogs wagged their tails to the rhythm of the music. And so, the legend of the dancing skeleton of Buzzville became an open secret, a reminder that sometimes, life and death can be more absurd and wonderful than we ever imagined.